Good evening, everyone. I request Carol to begin with the session.
Well, a very warm good evening to everyone. The guest speaker for our today's webinar are our own fourth year BEIT students, Mayank Tanna, Rohin Wadia, Nimisha Boyle, and Nidhi Sharma. They, as a team, have won IIC FRCRC Idea Competition 2020 and have a number of nominations in many other competitions. Naming a few: National Innovation, NRDC National Meritorious Invention, National Budding Innovators, and National Societal Innovation Award 2020. The team is currently competing for National Research Development Corporation. We are delighted to have someone of their expertise and knowledge to address our future innovator student entrepreneur of CRC event. Welcoming you all.
Hello. Thank you so much, Carol, for your lovely words. Ma'am, can we go ahead with the presentation?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Can you see my screen actually? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so before we start, actually, our team is known as Team Kavach. Why the name? Because we won the idea competition for a smart bag, which is for women's safety. And that particular project has helped us leaps and bounds to reach where we are right now. So I'm the team leader. My name is Mayank Tanna. Then comes the vice lead, that is Rohin Bhatia. And the two business girls I would call, they are Nidhi Sharma and Nimisha Boyer. They both are into the business and management sector. So before I start, I would like to say that the current presentation would be divided into three phases. Why three phases? Because at some point of time, every team would go for these three phases, and every particular team would have at least one phase as their weakness. So this is the first phase I would like to start with, that is thinking and implementation. And it's a request, in case if you have any doubts, feel free to ask us, and we'll try to maximize as much as we can. And so let's start. So this is the phase one, which I'll be starting with, that is thinking and implementation. So when it comes to thinking, mostly people think of problems and they kind of, rant about it. But according to us, instead of thinking and ranting about the problem, instead of that, why not just create a solution for it? So the main problem, or you can say the main criteria, okay, the PPT has started or not? I'm so sorry. Hello?
Yes,
it has.
Okay.
Just presentation is not available. The F5.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Can you see it right now?
No, it's not on full screen.
Okay. What about now?
No, but it's visible. It's all right.
Okay. So when it comes to thinking of a problem, so how do you think about this problem, whichever problem you have? So our main goal is to get all the people out here to understand how to discuss a particular problem to get the innovation started. So the first thing we need to know is, that is the double diamond approach. Why did I choose this particular approach to think of a problem is that it is one of the most important when it comes to like national level as well, when we were competing at that level. And when it comes to the real life scenarios, like on field approaches, all of these companies, what do they use to come with innovative ideas and solutions? So that comes from double diamond approach. So it has 4 Ds. Okay, so the first one would be the discover phase, then comes the define phase, develop phase, and the deliver phase. So when we have a particular problem, how should we go about to know more about the problem? So we'll go for That's basically the double diamond approach. We'll be expanding that. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, so once we start with the double diamond approach, I would like to add on to something. When we got selected for NIC, so this was the first part of training what we got. That was how to understand the problem. Because once we are out with the idea, we are, somewhat rigid minded in nature, that our particular idea would solve a particular problem. But in reality, that's not the deal, right? So there are two types of thinking we are looking at. The first one would be the divergent thinking, where you have a lot of ideas created. Okay, so let's say that for security, there are pepper sprays, there are SOS buttons, cameras, etc., etc. So all these are ideas. So what happens is we diverge it. Diverge यानी in Hindi पूरा खोल देते हैं उसको, right? When we go for converging it, so all these problems, whatever we have, we narrow it down. Okay, so to define the best idea, you have to have the best problem. So we need to narrow it down. So for that, we need a convergent thinking. So together, it will try to have a double diamond approach. Now we'll go for how should we apply this? Why are we applying this? And firstly, how do we apply this? So let's take a problem. Okay, if we have a problem in life, what do? There are two types of people who might have a problem. Either they will feel defeated about it, or they take it as a challenge to solve it. So out here, I'm pretty much sure most of us are the people who take it as a challenge, and that's what we were trained for initially. So why we are taking it as a challenge? Because number one, when you have a business, okay, you try to run a business, you have to be on your toes. So that in itself is a challenge. So the problems would be changing and evolving every time. So to have a proper innovative mind, or you can say perhaps an innovation, you should know what the problem is, because the problem keeps on changing. Like for instance, earlier there was nothing known as COVID-19. We didn't know what is coronavirus. Obviously few people knew because that's like scientific proofs and all, but like for a layman it was not there. So for this current situation, the problem is COVID-19. Perhaps for some like next decade it might be something else. So the problems keep on changing. So instead of crying about it, we can actually take it as a challenge. So after that, what we do is we design that particular challenge. Now we have a challenge. Now we need to design to have a solution. You need to accepting it as a challenge. You need to design it. And finally, you need to come out with a solution. Next, so the first D, that is discover. Now, when we have a particular problem, let's say that, we have something like COVID-19. Why am I taking this COVID-19 right now? Is because that's like the most innate when it comes to problems actually. So let's say that I have a problem. Now I want to know more about the problem. Okay, because to get a solution for it, I need to know in and out of what the problem is. If I don't know the problem properly, let's say that in this particular case of COVID-19, I know what it is. I know that it is spreading day by day. But like the main factor of how it is spreading, I don't know that I cannot come out with a solution for it. Similarly, so I need to dive more into the problem to know what the problem is, so that I can discover more about the problem. So that is the first phase. And along with that, once I know what the problem is, I am totally deep into the problem. I know what I want to do. I can collaborate with people based on that problem, so that I can get their peace of mind about the problem as well. Let's say that I'm thinking something about COVID-19, okay? But let's say that my teammate Rohin, Nidhi, and Nimisha are thinking something else about COVID. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It's another opinion that you should take. So being, to accept opinion also matters in this phase. And to know more about the problem is the prime motive of this particular phase. Then comes the team formation. After you know the problem, the most important thing that we will be talking about is how to build a team. Because I'm sure that whoever is sitting for this particular, I don't know what it is, seminar or webinar, uh, making a team is one of the most difficult aspects we have ever faced. Not even the innovation, beat it like facing people, facing challenges, that's absolutely nothing in front of if we have formed a wrong team. Okay, so I'll give an example before I explain what this slide is. Let's say that me and Rohin, we both are in the technical division of our team. Nidhi and Nimisha, our teammates, are into the business and management aspect of the team, the section. Now, if we interchange our parts, we have already worked in technical. Me and Rohin Vaidya have already worked in those technicalities, while Nidhi and Nimisha have slightly, they are slightly not there into that particular realm. Now, if we try to change that, the dynamics of the team changes. Why? Because what we have experienced the product versus what they have experienced while performing the business activities of the product are absolutely different. Our experiences are different. So when it comes to a team formation aspect, it is very, very important for us to know how to go about. So we start with the formation, that is the forming part, if you can see in the image. What does that signify? That if a particular person or a teammate is right in that position, for example, let's say that Rohin, if he's not good in business and he's amazing at technical stuff, okay, but he decides to go for business, the team won't function properly. It will be one-sided team, right? Because the business part would be slightly weaker as compared to the technical part. Our main focus is to have a proper balance about it. The second thing is storming. Once you already have the problem, you will start brainstorming on it to have some solutions on it. The problem when it comes to brainstorming is, or you can say storming, every teammate would have some other opinion about the problem. Now, for each teammate, it is important to accept it. The very first thing is to accept it and try to work on it together as much as you can. So that part is storming, because that if you think that you have that mental barrier that my solution is only right and the other teammate is wrong, then it won't work. Then you can't actually move ahead. And that's when we were competing initially. When we went outside college to compete, we got to see that there was a lot of mismanagement in other teams. Why? Because the first issue was that they themselves didn't know what they were doing in terms of the team dynamics. They were like, "Mera idea sahi hai, mera idea sahi hai," which is absolutely not done, right? Then comes the norming phase. So, what is norming? When you together kind of build a product or you work closely, okay, having to know everything about your teammates, their flaws, their weaknesses, their strengths, everything, and then try to work on a product, okay, neglecting the flaws and then including more of their specialities or strengths, that makes the team very, very strong. Then comes the performing part. That's when we start collaborating. We exchange more of ideas along with, while we are developing the product. It is when it comes to, sharing your ideas, it can be immediate issues also. Like, for example, COVID. When we were making our product, initially we didn't have COVID. So while we were making a prototype, we had to come up with an idea immediately so that we can incorporate something regarding COVID. And at the end, we have adjourning. Now, what does that mean? That once we have decided collectively as a team, let's say that we need to add XYZ feature in this particular product, we will have to go, like once we disband, like go back home or something, we will have to think about it, that was that correct? Was the thing correct what we thought about? Because once you get that, when you're alone, you think better, okay, for some of us. So that is why adjourning is one of the most important aspects. because you're alone at that point of time and you can think somewhat better without any influence, I would say. Now, Rohin would continue further.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to have you guys look at this graph. So this is a graph of team efficiency versus time. So basically, when you start off with forming the team, there's no question of team efficiency because the team is not ready. But as you can see, there's a dip when you reach storming. What this says is when you're brainstorming and you're sharing your ideas, there's a dip in the efficiency. That means that there's a lot of ideas coming in, there's a bit of chaos, there's still it's still in a raw stage, but after that slowly you'll see that when you reach the norming stage and then finally peak at the performing stage, see how the efficiency is increasing, and that wouldn't happen without this storming phase. So it's always important that you share your ideas and you sit together and form an opinion on what how you're going to go about things. Then the performing will come on its own. And then there's adjourning, which although there's a dip, it still is very important because when you take some time to think about what you've done and what ideas have gone through, you'll think of even more ideas. So it's always important to reflect on what happened during that meeting and how you should move forward. Yeah.
Okay. So next part is the survey part. Now, this is collectively one of the most important aspects when you go for IIC, NIC, NRDC, etc., etc. All these, yeah, I would say commodities or competitions, they require some way or the other a proof, I would say, that requires, that there is some confidence of people in our product. So what we did as a team collectively, we came up with a specific set of questions that were matching with our particular product. Now, see, for any of your product, maybe it's a service, okay, or a product, the questions might change. These are some questions that we chose initially, and believe me, we got to like the last stage of NIC just because of this, because this gave us one upper edge over the other teams, because they didn't have this particular survey. So as a FRCRC student, I would love to have all of y'all to at least come up with some surveys, like that can be shared via Google form or something like that, so that we can move forward at least in some way or the other. So for example, I would like to give the initial, there are two surveys that we conducted. The first one is where, when you have the problem, you need to prove that this problem needs to be solved. Okay. So when you need to prove that this problem needs to be solved, this is going to be everywhere. When you try to get some investors, when you try to, have some meets or anything, you need to prove yourself that, or you need to prove your problem that it needs to be solved at that particular time, and it should be effective. So let's say that my first question was, do you feel public transport is safe to use at night? Now, this is a very basic question, and I would just like to give some context on what our product is. It's based on women's safety. So these questions all are related to them. Now, because of that, now if you can see the first question, do you feel public transport is safe to use at night? 65% of, even actually men and women both, were saying it is not safe. So that was the first win for us, that it proves that we need to have a solution for it. Second one was, would you feel safer if you have the correct gear device to tackle personal security issues? We got a whopping 89.7% of a yes. That again, that strengthens our solution, or you can say the problem we have chosen at that point of time. The best way to know if your problem is right or wrong is a survey. You need to have some way or the other a point of contact with the outside world to know if your problem is right or wrong. If you choose the wrong problem, you will not move ahead. Okay. And And most of the times, what happens is, if you start, a startup, most of the times, if you see the failure rate, as people say, the failure rate is a lot more. Why? Because they choose the wrong problem to be solved. If you choose the wrong problem to be solved, you will never move ahead. Like, for example, the third question, it is one of the most important questions that impact our product. Have you ever canceled plans just because they are late at night and you have no one to accompany you there? Again, we got a 66.6%, out of which more than 50% were women. So all these questions, when you compile together, like, you get the data, you get to know that your problem is correct or not, right? So literally, when you have all these reasons to prove that your problem is there, you should understand that you're going in the right direction. So once we've got, now that's the second D we are going for, that is define. I hope everyone hello.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now the second D, that is define. Now, since we already have a plethora of questions in our mind, and we have driven deep into the problem, now we need to get back to reality to get like a perfect problem definition. Now, if you might have seen, like, later on in life, like in like your third and the fourth year, I think so even in the second year, you'll have this concept known as what is your problem statement. If you have any projects, the first slide or the page is supposed to be problem statement. Now, in reality, what does that mean? That means that you already know the problem. You have conducted a survey, you have done the discovery, and you've done the definition, and you've come to a single problem out of it. Now, what does define mean out of that? All these problems that you have to narrow them down to one single problem that would suffice each and every one out there in the world. One single problem should suffice everyone's needs. That is what in short define means. So when we write what is the problem statement or a problem definition, to be precise, that means that you have done your job of discovering, researching, you know the problem, now you finally done the definition, and at the end you have one single problem that is ready to cater the world, right? Next slide is the right problem taken by Rohin Vaidya.
Okay, so after the define phase, what happens is that you've got a brief idea of what your problem is. But now what you need to do is take that brief idea and narrow it down to get yourself the right problem. Here you need to identify it and make it into a problem statement. Problem statement can also be called pain point, which basically means that what is the problem that you have found, and you need to find a way to tackle it. So you have to keep trying, and even if you fail, you should start again and think of the problem statement. Next. Okay, so we'll have a slight interactive session. This is just to see whether you understood the points that we have said, Mayank.
So in this interactive session, now since we know how to make up, the right problem definition, or you can say a problem statement. For instance, let's take our particular, let's say, placement drive, what we have. So if someone can please help me out in this particular scene, that what would be the problem statement with respect to our placement drive? There are a lot of problems all over India that students face while they go for placements. Can someone help us out? Can people please answer, because we don't know if you're understanding. So this particular slide is just for that, because if you don't know how to make a problem, it's going to be very difficult for you all to move ahead. Hello.
Ma'am, has anyone raised their hand or anything?
No, no, not yet. Students, I request you all to please ask your questions.
You can even type it into the chat box. We'll have a look.
Sure. So what problems all of y'all would face while you might take a job? Okay, while you're sitting for an interview, or maybe perhaps you didn't sit for an interview just because of some issues. What problems did you face or you might face?
Okay, Erica saying mostly only the smartest people get the job.
Exactly. So let's say that I'm sitting for a placement thing, and let's take a superficial or hypothetical situation where my pointers are very low, but I have the talent to code. Now, just for FYI, in India, 60% of coders don't score marks, and this is with all IBM and all these researchers actually tried to, with these companies, try to conduct a research where they try to know what is wrong, and they got to know that usually when the students who don't score, even they have certain set of talents, but they can't sit for the placement just because of that cutoff marks for a particular company. So what is the problem? According to me, when I try to diverge this, or I would say discover this particular problem, my problem would be that I am talented but I don't have the marks. That's one problem. Second is that I do have a lot of I have amazing pointer, around 9 pointer, but I don't have the skills to code. Okay, I'm not that talented in coding, but I'm still sitting for that placement. But I might be talented in some other aspect, let's say business. So what the problem is out here is that people, I would say, is that talent should not be measured by grades. First problem is that. Second, Rohin, would you like to continue?
Just like how you don't have the talent or you can't face the cutoff, sometimes there's stuff like you can't pass the aptitude test, right?
Exactly.
And like Shalaka said, not everyone registered is getting placed. So it's all about how there's that disparity that I want this job but I'm not getting it. Why is that? That's what's happening.
So now we already have a problem. Okay, so that is that I'm talented, I don't have the grades, I cannot sit for the company. Now there can be a lot of problems. Obviously, that's not only one single problem. That I'm saying that out of thousands of problems, this is around 60% of the data that collectively comes out as I am talented, but I don't have the pointer. I have streamlined it into one single problem statement. Now, if you see that if I'm talented, I don't have the pointer, my problem statement still is intact. If I have good pointer, but I don't have the talent and I'm interested in something else, that also impacts the same thing, because if I'm an engineering student, I have absolutely nothing based on business. I have only a few, like 2, 3 subjects that I might have taken, for example, finance management or something like that. So just because of that, I have come out with a particular definition that states that talent is not measured by grades, which is currently the situation, right? If you have high grades, you will get a job, irrespective you're happy or not. Now that's a problem statement. Okay, so if you want to ideate that, you can go for like a problem statement that people these days, okay, or companies these days are trying to pick up students during the placement drive basis on the grades and not talent. Why is that so? That's a problem. I hope you all understood. That's a big problem. And that's why if you see 60 to 70% of Indian engineers are not happy. Why? Because of this. And now, in fact, they have started, like they started, validating all these people. Like, if you have low pointers also, you can sit. This is just like one case study we are taking so that you understand how it works. Next is team dynamics, one of the most important topics taken by Rohin Vaidya.
Okay, so I hope you understand what we mean by team dynamics. Team dynamics means the factors that affect how um, your team is going to perform or how they behave with each other. So, for a winning team, there are 7 characteristics that you must have. First, we have shared purpose. When you have a team, you should all have one goal that you're all working towards. If you don't share a goal or a purpose, then you won't know what you're working towards. You're just working, but you have no purpose. So, what is the point of that work? Next is trust and openness. When you say trust and openness, you mean that one teammate trusts the other teammate, and when they ask their opinion, they feel that yes, I can give my opinion, and my teammates are willing to listen to that opinion. So that means open communication, openness. Next, we'll look at willingness to correct mistakes. So if you are making mistakes, you need to be willing to correct them. But before you correct them, you also need to be willing to understand that yes, I made a mistake and I accept that I've made a mistake and now I will go ahead and correct it. So that is also an important thing to have in a team. Next, we have diversity and inclusion. So, what do you mean by inclusion? It means that a teammate feels that he is being included in the team. He feels that, yes, my opinion matters. Also, diversity means that you should not only look at one point of view, you should look at various point of views, think differently. Not everyone thinks the same. So, a winning team should be able to look at different aspects of the problem. Next, we have interdependence and a sense of belonging. This is similar to inclusion, which means that when you give your opinion, you feel that yes, my opinion matters. I belong in this team. My opinion is going to take us further ahead. Interdependence also means that, say that I'm lagging behind in my task. My teammate can also help me. We are depending on each other to go ahead. You shouldn't be like, I'll do this, you do that. Now, if you don't help each other, then that teamwork will not be there. Then it might happen that one person doesn't know one thing, the other person doesn't know another. So you should always be together and depend on each other. Sixth point is consensus decision making. What this means is before making a decision, you should always have everyone's opinion taken into account. Consensus means that multiple people have agreed to a certain point. So, without having everyone's opinion heard and agreeing with a majority that yes, this is where we should go ahead, you shouldn't have one person saying that yes, this is what we're going to do and this is what we have to do. Everyone should be able to say what they think and come to the decision. And the seventh point is participative leadership. That means that you should always be able to participate in discussions, and there should be a good leadership that someone is helping you look in the correct direction. Understanding a team's dynamics is also very important. Yeah. Okay, this is the third point, develop. What develop means that now you have that idea, you've defined it, you've got it, and you know that this is the right problem we are tackling. So now what you need to do is make sure that you have some proof of concept, something to say that yes, this is something that I'm going to do. You need to start testing that idea, seeing that slowly, yes, I can reach the solution with this path that I'm taking. To experiment, try new things, but slowly reach the stage where you are making the solution into reality. Okay, the last part is deliver. What deliver means that after all the previous stages of discover, define, develop, now you should be able to take that solution, that problem you thought of, and make it into a solution that this is how I'm going to fix this problem. You need to be able to take all the ideas that you had and make it into one solid solution. I think I've used solution a lot, but you need to have a certain product or service or something ready after all that thinking, something to show that yes, this problem is going to be tackled now. This is a market analysis. So again, like we had a survey before, now we need to see that this particular idea that I have, this innovation, whether people will be willing to accept it, whether it's an idea, I think it's brilliant, but will people be willing to use it? What's the point of the idea if no one is going to use it? So we conducted a survey, and you can see, is a pepper spray a must after 11 p.m.? And we have 70.9% people saying yes, it's necessary, which means that okay, we're on the right path. People feel insecure. They need to have something in their hand to protect themselves. Next question was, would you feel safer if you have the correct gears or device to tackle personal security issues? Now, see, like Mayank said, our idea was a smart bag. So now we are slowly hinting at, if you had something with you, would you feel safer? Because we have established that a lot of people don't feel safe. Now, how would you go about it? And so you can see that a lot of people, 89.7%, have agreed that if I had something with me, I'd feel safer. So this is what you need, validation for your idea. Or else you can't go making something, spending money, time, effort, and then no one is going to take it. Another thing you should do is conduct a SWOT analysis. What does SWOT mean? SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. What do you mean by strengths? Strengths is the positive points that your solution will bring about, what it will tackle, what is it good at. Now, a weakness is something that needs improvement, which is not exactly at its 100% yet. That you feel that this point I need to work harder on. Now, opportunities are, what are your goals? What do you aim towards? What is the vision that you have for your idea? And lastly, threats. What kind of obstacles will you face? Now, say you're making a product. For now, one obstacle you'd have is capital, money that you need. Or another threat that you'd have is whether people will understand how to use that product. Not everyone will know. You can't assume that everyone is at a certain level of intelligence that they'll always know. So you should always cater towards those threats also. Should make those threats your opportunities and the weaknesses your strengths. Once again, we'll have a small interactive session to see whether you've understood these points. So, Mayank, would you like to expand?
Absolutely. So if you remember, like just few slides back, we were talking about placement, right? So any one of y'all, could y'all describe any type of solution that we can get with that particular issue which we were facing? That is, we don't have to measure talent with the grades when we are sitting for placements. Anybody with any solution? You can drop it in the comments as well.
Instead of grades, we can take our account of projects they have done. The companies can take account, like the projects or the competitions they have taken part in. That can be taken into account.
Absolutely, yes. That's one of the solutions you can look at. But something more concrete, I would say, because not everyone would go for competitions, right? So someone else?
They can be evaluated on the base of their talent. Like if you're recruiting for coding, so by holding a coding screening, they can help choose like candidates who are good in coding.
Absolutely. May I know who that was actually? That's a very good answer.
Shalaka.
Nice. So as Shalaka said, that let's say that we would refine this solution, what she's given, into somewhat a little bit more better one. So let's say that as now let's think as a business perspective. For us, okay, we formed a company, or rather, we made a product, okay, where we go for, you know, we make an application where we go to different companies and ask for their real life projects that they can share. Okay, because most of the companies won't be sharing their projects, right? So if there is some dusted project they have, and they can share with us, so that project we can float on online platforms, and the students, as Shalaka said, whoever can solve and cater the company's needs can get the job. It's as simple as it. For that, you just need to pass your examinations. There are no benchmarks set for what pointer you need, etc., etc. So, and Rohin, anything more?
Yeah, so like Shalaka said that they could have a coding round. So you should think that there's actually a barrier at the start that say that there's a CGPA of 6.3 and companies won't take you unless you have 6.75. So that is the barrier we're trying to address. So if you can't pass that barrier, then the problem is there at that point. So this project's idea, like Mayank said, should be there before you actually have that eligibility criteria. Um, am I audible?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So,
So, like he said, that the projects could be taken. You could conduct hackathons, stuff like that, to the company instead of like um, yes, like Swati ma'am said, placements need innovators. So that is a problem, and this is how we're narrowing it down to how we can fix it. Yeah.
So another thing, instead of keeping cutoff scores, you can actually have that result of whatever projects they have solved as like a benchmark, or you can say as a cutoff. If you can solve that, that is a real life project, giving you real life experience, and it will define like something new out of the student. Which means that the companies would know that this student, despite of less marks, okay, that person knows how to code or whatever it is, and that person is capable of solving the company's needs. So that's what the company needs, right, at the end of the day. So that's one of the solutions. Thank you so much, ma'am and Shalaka. That was brilliant. Okay, Rohin.
Now we'll be moving on to phase two. Phase one was thinking and implementation. Now this is the product. So when you have a new product, there's a product development process which you should look at, which has the first as ideation, second is research, third is planning, fourth is prototyping, fifth is sourcing research, and sixth is costing. So when you look at ideation, that means that how you think of your product, how you should. So say that you have some idea. So an entrepreneur will want his product to be perfect. They want everything to fix the problem immediately. But what you need to do is you need to think of your problem and think of your product. Now you won't get some brilliant idea that this is how I'm going to solve it. You need to take some small idea that you have of a product and build on top of that product. Slowly and surely you'll reach that perfect product. You won't just have the perfect product in your hand. You need to think again, and you should keep on building on that. Next is the scamper model. What this means is basically you have a product. No, you have an idea that you want to make a business. Now what you can make into a business, you can use this tool, which means substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse slash arrange, rearrange. What this means is you can substitute, means that you have one product, and instead of using one material in it, you use a different material in it to make it a different product. That is also innovative. That means that you are thinking on ways of improving someone else's product. Next is combine. Say that you are just having a phone case and a battery pack. So you've seen phone cases which can charge your phone, those bulky phone cases. You could think that if this is charging, what can I do that will make this in a different way? So you could have a phone case which acts as a flashlight, or you could have a phone case which acts like a GPS instead of turning on your phone GPS. You could have various ideas combining two products that already exist. Adapt. Now, plastic straws are a big problem. So you can think that how could I make something which would adapt to the new environment. So plastic straws is a very old idea. So now in this world we are concerned about pollution. So we can make a metal straw which is reusable, which is another innovative idea. Modify. So you have a simple toothbrush, and I just think that I'm too tired to move my hand up and down and side to side. Why don't I make this electric toothbrush which will do half the work for me? Put to another use. So a lot of industries have these waste materials and products, byproducts that they don't end up using. So if you could take those products and make that into a new product, that would actually be a good business idea. Eliminate. So if you take the middlemen out of our industry, that itself is also a business. So instead of having some company which has some retailer who'll sell their product, and then that retailer will again sell it to someone, and then it will reach you, you could be the one selling that product. Reverse and rearrange. So this means that how you could just take one existing product, just move it around a bit, and you get a new product. Yeah. Research. When you have an idea of a product, you shouldn't just jump ahead and be like, this is my product and I'm going to make it, and then start making it. You need to look at your competitors, look at how this product already exists, whether it doesn't exist. You need to see that this is my idea. How would I be able to sell it in the market? Well, people buy it, not buy it. You should conduct surveys, talk to your friends, family. You should see the trends in the market. Hello?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, Rohan.
Yeah, okay. I'll continue. So you need to have some kind of analysis of what kind of competition you will face. You should not just jump into production. You need to have the ability to be competitive. Something that my product offers you this. That's why you should take my product. That is also an important part of the development process. Yes, someone commented something. Company will give job to the student whose academics project and all are best. If some student is not good, yes, this is correct.
Should I move on, Rohan?
Oh, 1 minute, I'm just reading the comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so academics may not be the issue. So that sometimes people have a focus on a different area. So I may not be able to explain the theory behind how an HTTP packet will flow from here to there, but that doesn't mean that I don't understand that this is what's happening. So you should not, the academics can't be the only thing that you change. You should be able to change other things. That's why you can think on it. Okay, Mike can go ahead.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything to say about the comment.
Could you read the comment out loud, actually? So that
I'll just
everyone-
address it at the end. Is that fine?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now the third phase in product development, that is planning. The most important in terms of product is this particular phase. Why? Because till the time you ideate it and you go for research, you don't know how your product is forming. The moment you start looking at a product and you start visualizing how your product would be, start sketching the product, or you start making block diagrams of how you're going to go about everything, you start visualizing. That's what planning is. So let's take an example of this. If you can see the image out there, this particular image is of a sleeve that is created for a Bluetooth speaker. So it is water resistant, etc., etc. So all these factors are included into planning. Now, Because why this important is like, in today's market, whatever you buy, firstly, as a customer, I would say that it should be visually appealing for me. Like it should be good looking, correct? So this phase would start giving you that looks of a product, irrespective of what it is. Let's say that it's a service also. Even if it's a service, what does good looking service mean? It means that it is well designed in terms of web application or whatever. It is very, very user friendly. All these factors collectively come into planning. So the next part is prototyping. Now this is like, this is literally, I'll give you the literal sense of it. You go from ugly looking to the beautiful looking in this particular phase. Now, the term prototyping means you start from scratch, from ground one, to wherever you want to take your product. You start making that product from scratch. This phase where you have completed your ideation, research, planning, etc., etc., and now you start developing a product after various amounts of research and testing, etc. So this particular phase would give you like the real life experience of how your product would be. Now, that doesn't mean that now, for example, as Rohan explained, you have to conduct research, but not every research would suit your style. Okay, your style in the sense that your product maybe, or your service. Not everything would suit your product or service. So like for example, if you can see the image at the right now, so that means that it's an angle razor. Okay, just for for men with beard. Now, the first razor that was built for this particular prototype was plain plastic. They had to groove it out. Second one was a 3D printed, and third one was a dust board, etc., etc. At the end, they have two metal models. If you can see, one is aluminium and the other is steel. In today's era, everyone uses steel. So that's the final prototype of an angle razor. That is the steel one. If you can see in the middle, there were so many areas that we tried and tested, right? So this this particular phase would like indirectly teach you that what your product is lacking, what are the errors or issues in your product, errors in terms of services naturally, and so on. So after you're done with prototyping, that is the fifth phase we'll get into, is sourcing. Now, since you already have your final prototype, the beautiful looking prototype you have, so immediately after that, you should conduct some testing and all that. And after that, you come for sourcing. What does that mean is that from where would you get the raw material to you build your product, or from where you start getting investment opportunities in this particular thing. So you try to get to people and ask them that would they be able to invest in your adventure or your business. So you try to build a supply chain for it, the vendors, activities, etc., etc. So based on this, you go for advertisement. All these situations and commodities would be enclosed in this particular phase, that is the sourcing phase. The next part I would go for is costing. This is the most important because everyone wants money. And once you start with the prototyping phase, you will lose a lot of money initially because you're trying, you're testing, you need a lot of money. For example, like our product, we use Raspberry Pi, Arduino, etc., etc. We have a lot of technologies in that, but predominantly we are using, like, the brain is Raspberry Pi. Okay, so initially we were in the second year and we didn't know how that board is being used. So because of power supply and all, we blew up 3 Raspberry Pis. Now that is a loss. Okay, so what we did is we made a log, okay, that actually has each and everything we have lost till now, and each and everything we have earned. We have actually not earned yet because we are still in that process, but we have maintained a log right now. So similarly, why do you create a costing log? Why? What's the reason for it? Now, since now after this, there's a business plan which is taken by Nidhi and Nimisha. What happens out here is, if you have a log, the business part of the team would help you to maximize the profits by removing all the unwanted stuff you have added in your, because as a technical person I don't know what and where I can reduce the costing from. So that's why it is very much, it is important to have a team which has two aspects. One is the technical and the other is non-technical. And second thing, for the log part, you should have make sure that you have your total in USD, that is US dollars, because that's the universal currency all over. And the second one is should be of your country, that is your rupees. So ideally you should end with your rupees, because if your investor is from India, then naturally you should have rupees. That's obviously that's the respect of a country. And if you don't and you're applying somewhere out, you should have USD also. That's like the general norm. Now business plan would be taken by Nidhi and Nimisha.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Nidhi.
So, a business plan. It's nothing but a document that will describe in detail how exactly you want your business. So, if you're a startup or any sort of company, you will define the objectives and how will you achieve your goals. So, a business plan is basically a layout or a roadmap for your firm in case of marketing, finance, operational standpoints. That's what a business plan means. Next. So, a business plan should have a presentation which is ideally of 16 to 20 slides, and it should deliver a 360 degrees aspect towards your business. What exactly does your business do? What are its visions, its missions? All of that should be in that particular presentation itself. So now the following components that should definitely be in your presentation are your elevator pitch, which would be a small pitch of 5 lines where you put your product across people. Your vision and mission statement, which will describe the vision of your company and mission towards what you all are working for. Your market and industry environment. How are you going to tackle your product in the market, and is it meeting the industry environments and requirements that are there? Your value proposition, key products, services, and differentiation. What value does your product offer in the market? What are your key products, and what are the services, and what is different from already the products that are available in the market? Your business model, that would be a well-defined version of your prototype, and your sales and marketing strategy. Once your business model is out there, how exactly do you plan on selling it to people, and how do you want customers to buy it? What approach would you go for? Your management team is who will handle all of these sales, marketing, finance strategies for you. Your capital, now that you have a product, you obviously need money to bring it out in the market. And your risks and gaps, what risks are you willing to take, or what gaps are you willing to take in order to make sure your product works in your market? Next. Your elevator pitch is 5 quick lines on what does your company do, what new benefits does it offer, and how is it different from the competitors. So suppose your company is Bisleri. What does Bisleri do? It does sell mineral water. Now, what are the benefits of using Bisleri? It says it has water from the Himalayas and it's extremely pure. Now, how is it different from the competitors? Recently, Bisleri launched a 100% recyclable campaign, and they're still currently working on how their bottles can be completely biodegradable. So that is something that would be included in your elevator pitch. Now, your visions and mission statement is nothing but a mission statement will define that company's business, your objectives, and how will you approach to make sure that you meet all of these objectives that are there. And your vision is how exactly do you want to see your company in the next few years. So that is what mission and vision statements are. Market and industry environment. Your market and industry environment have to go hand in hand. Your marketing environment is something where you have to take in consideration the external as well as the internal factors and forces which will affect your company's ability to establish a relationship with your customers. So if you market your product in a good way, you give them some sort of warranty and guarantee period, the customer is bound to come back to you because you're providing them with some future commitments as well. That you give a 2-year warranty, so if something happens to your product, they can come back and get the exchange. Similarly, with the industry environment, how exactly is your product or your prototype or whatever you've designed meeting up with the industry environment? How exactly would it survive in the industry? How would it do? What is it different from everything that's available? What are you ready to give your customers who are coming for you, and how exactly will it benefit them when they buy your products? Next. Your value proposition, key products, services, and differentiation. So, a value proposition is the answer to a question of the customer that why should he buy your product? What are you giving him? He's going to obviously pay for your product or buy it. So, what is the value of your product? So, how would you answer why should he buy your product? What is so good about your product that he should definitely make an investment for it? Your positioning is determining what is your position currently in the market and what products are you occupying, or how are you going to further occupy different things. Differentiation is how your design is different from everything else that is in the market. Like when we take, for example, Dyson, which is it's a hair product, but since most of the hair products use heat, Dyson uses air. So now everyone wants to buy Dyson because it does not damage your hair product. So Dyson is completely different from every hair product that is currently in the market. So what would be different in your product as compared to all the products that are already in the market is something that you need to really work on in order for people to buy your products.
Hello. The next component which gets added in the business plan is the business model and sales marketing strategy. So, what is exactly business model? The term business model refers to company's plan for making a profit. A business model is company's core strategy for profitably doing business. So this model actually include information like products or services the business plan to sell or provide, target markets, then any anticipated expenses. Then when evaluating a business model as an investor, you should always ask whether the idea makes sense, whether it is going to work properly, and whether the numbers add up. So your main target is to make a profit, right? So you should always take this thing into consideration. Then the sales strategy. So a sales strategy is a plan that outlines how a business is going to sell its product or services. Marketing strategy is ultimately designed to increase market share for a company and to accomplish specific goals for new customer investment and increase the customer loyalty. Four things you should include while making a sales strategy, that is overall product or brand positioning, that describes how a brand is different from its competitors and where or how it sits in customer minds and at what extent it is useful for the customers. Then comes the sales and distribution strategy. It is method of spreading goods and services to the end users. So distribution strategy should be based on your ideal customer. How does the average client buy goods? How could you as a producer make the purchasing process easier? So all these things you should consider while determining the distribution strategy. Then comes the key business development alliances and partnerships. So it is basically a formal agreement between two or more independent companies to cooperate in manufacturing, development, or sales of products and services and other business objectives. In particular, in a partnership business, all partners share liabilities and profits equally, while in others, partners may have limited liability. Then comes last is the pricing approach. A business can use a variety of pricing strategies when selling a product or service. So you can use either a competitor based pricing strategy, value based, or a buyer based pricing strategy. So competitor based pricing is commonly used to test product pricing, especially if you are new to the market. It requires thorough research on what your competitors are doing, what they offer, and at what price they offer in order to arrive at your own pricing strategy. So, for pricing approach, you should determine the most effective pricing strategy for a company. Senior executives need to first identify the company's pricing position, pricing segment, pricing capability, and pricing reaction strategy. Next is management team. So it is the most important part of the business plan. While developing a business plan, the management section describes your management team, staff resources, and how your business ownership is structured. So a convenient way to organize this section is to break it into following points, that is ownership structure, then comes the internal management team, external management resources, then last is human resource team. So first is the ownership structure. This section specifies the legal structure of your business. So you need to be sure to explain who holds what percentage of ownership in the company. So it may be a single sentence if your business is a sole proprietorship. If your business is partnership or a corporation, it can be longer. Then comes the internal management team. This section should describe the business management categories relevant to your business. Identify who is going to have what responsibility for each category, and then include short profile highlighting each person's skills. As a backup, there is external management resources. So you should always think of external resources as your internal management team's backup. They give your business credibility and an additional pool of expertise. So, and the last is the human resource team. So, the last point you should address in management section of your business plan is your human resources needs. The trick to writing about human resource is to be specific and be detailed. Detail how many employees your business will need at each stage and what they will cost. Next is capital. So capital includes cash and other financial assets held by an individual or business and is total of all financial resources used to leverage growth and build financial stability. So its examples are patents, then brand names, bank accounts, and all other etc. So capital is not same as money. Instead of simply spending it like a cash, you use it to create wealth through investment. Since you use capital to create wealth, it is considered as an asset in your small business accounting records. Then comes risks and gaps. So risk is possibility of something bad happening. So you should specifically describe the risks that your market and industry face. Then risk involves uncertainty about implications of an activity with respect to something that humans value, often focusing on negative and undesirable consequences. Sorry. Then what are the actual reasons that will cause your company to underachieve its targets? So how can you mitigate these risks? What steps are being taken to mitigate this risk? All these things you need to describe in risk and gaps section. So market gaps are opportunities disguised as voids. A gap in the market is a place or area that current businesses aren't serving.
Nimisha, can we move forward?
Yes, yes.
So finally, after the business plan, now what our experiences are. Uh, Now we have tried our best to fit everything in one slide so that even if you were bored with whatever we did right now, these are some of the important points you should look at if you are trying to compete at any level you want. These are like the ground basics. Even if you are going for a startup, this is like the very basic thing you should know. So the first five would be taken by Rohin. The other five would be taken by me. Rohin?
Okay, so communication between teammates is an absolute necessity. So if you remember when I explained team dynamics, how those points were important. So for us, we would sit together and we would explain whatever new idea that we had. We'd discuss it, whether we need it, whether it was important. So that communication flow is very important for any team. Next is have a multilingual team. Now, this is a special point that we wanted to put forward because for us, I could speak English and Hindi and Marathi while the others could speak different languages. So, for us, when we wanted to explain this to someone who was not from Mumbai or from a different city, he did not understand certain terms that we used, like Kavach. So you should be able to adapt and you should have that ability that you can explain your point. You should be multilingual because certain things cannot be expressed in only one language. So keep updating your product as per changing market needs. So when we started off, COVID-19 was not an issue for us. We were working with a different aim. But because COVID-19 came and we saw that this was an opportunity to add more features to our bag, we updated our product. We looked at the current market, the environment, and said this would make our product even better, more competitive. So you should always be able to update your product with the changing times. Keep learning, be open to criticism, learn to listen to that criticism. So, in our journey towards where we are now, we had various people give us advice, give us mentorship, and you should always have that open mind that the points that are being told to us, you shouldn't stick that my idea is the best idea and everyone else's opinion is irrelevant. You should think that so this person has said this point. Maybe I should add this to my product. Next is network and expand your connections with the help of a well maintained LinkedIn profile. So you should always have a LinkedIn profile which is updated with your latest information. So when people want to contact you, they can see that information, see your integrity, see how you are, and that is how you move forward. You create connections, you branch out. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah. So next is protect your idea. Now, this is the most, the recent one that we have gone through is like we have applied for a patent. Now, why am I asking all of you all to protect your idea? Because there are a lot of people who might actually try to get, take part into your team or something like that, which is absolutely not required. Okay, your team is your team and your idea is your idea. So think of it as an investment. If you the way you buy a property, right? So that's an investment for you. Similarly, you're investing in your idea. So this is one of the most important aspects when it comes to protecting your idea. Okay, so this is very important. If you think that you can have a patent, go for it. It is very good. You should go for it. And if not, please write a research paper on it. Your name should be there that this is your idea, and some way or the other you should have a proof about it. Next comes create deadlines. So Nidhi out here in our team, she's just brilliant at it. So when you come at a level, after IIC FRCRC, that level we didn't know what are the deadlines. We just get a simple date. We have to present that. Now, as a team, what happens is like you need to have certain deadlines that by, let's say, 15th of Jan, we should finish XYZ of this particular idea. By 30th of Jan, we should finish half of the product. And similarly, likewise. So what happens out here is, if we have deadlines, you get more opportunities to incorporate more ideas into your product, because you don't have any backlog that you need to you will not have any backlog. So instead of coping up with a backlog and spending all that time in that particular backlog, you can actually go ahead and implement a few more ideas in your product that might actually benefit you. Next comes soft skills. Most important, the most important. Why? Because if you don't know how to talk and how to present yourself, okay, you just cannot go ahead, because your identity, your product's identity lies in your mouth. Because if you can't speak about a product in the right way, and you should be politically correct, I want to tell this, please be politically correct, because that matters the most. So your soft skills matter the most. Why? Because you don't know who's going to invest in your product. You don't know what are their beliefs, what it is, everything. So you should know how to work your way out using your tongue. So when you try to present your project, okay, you should already have some pointers to grasp at that point of time, so that that particular investor is totally intrigued in your product. Okay, so you need to practice more on that. You should practice, actually. That's important. Now, the next part is, each member should know everything about your product. Technology is used also, as well as the business plan. Now, if you by now you might be knowing that our team is divided into two parts. One is the business part, and the other is supposed to be the technical part. But that doesn't mean that we exclude the business section people with, like, we don't explain what the technologies are, because once you go at a certain level, you should know everything, because they will be asking you questions. They can ask anybody, actually. Any, if you have a team, they will be asking any one of you all what your product is, inclusive of technology and business. So you should know everything. Not like, if like me and Rohin are coding, or we are working on Raspberry Pi, Nidhi and Nimisha should know how to code and all. No, they should know how the technology works, and somewhat basics they should know. And last, this is my favorite: analyze the headwinds and the tailwinds. Now, what does this mean? Like, as we are engineers, you might be knowing that the river problem we have solved in mechanics. The So let's say that the wind is facing my back. Okay, it's pushing me ahead. If the wind is pushing me ahead, it's good for me. Okay, because I'm moving faster. But if the wind is against me, I'm going slower. So similarly, it's a finance term, that out here, headwind means that something is facing me, it's against me, I'm going slow. Okay, it's slowing my business down. And tailwind means that it is enhancing my business, I'm speeding up. So in this particular aspect, let's say that current COVID situation, what happens out here is, for our product, now I'll give an example for our product. We could see that, we have to do something about COVID. It's not always necessary that you add something that is unnecessary, right? So to get that tailwind, what we did is, we added something related to COVID, so that we are in date with all the products that are coming out. So you need to analyze for your service or your product, because these two factors are very important: what can block you and what can push you ahead. You should know that. So I guess we are done with the presentation, and feel free to connect. Our LinkedIn IDs are here. I'll paste it if you all want. I'll paste it out here if you all want. Hello.
Students students, if you have any queries, please ask.
Yeah, please feel free to like ask any questions you have, because see, we have fallen quite a few times, and instead of all of you all falling, and it's better to take more from our experiences and move ahead. So, like any questions, please go ahead. We'll be sharing the PPT as well in some time. I'll upload it. You guys can download the PPT as well.
One of the teachers will send you the recording of the meet later on once it's over.
I will be sharing the recorded meet afterwards.
Also, one more thing, I'm so sorry to interrupt. One more thing is that our college has very good teachers. Like, for example, Swati ma'am. Can you all hear me? I can't.
Yes,
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
There's Swati ma'am, there's Ajay sir. All these teachers are willing to help us out. So please grab it. It's very, very, they're very helpful. And I can't thank Swati ma'am enough, because without her help and Kranti ma'am's help, we wouldn't have been standing where we are right now. So firstly, thank you, ma'am. And please contact them. They're very good at it. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. May I ask my question?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Mayankji?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mayankji, I want to say that your session was amazing session. It was so mind blowing. You have all knowledge. It was so brilliant to hear your knowledge. I congrats you, everybody, your all team that you are making an amazing journey. My question is that you all have a group, you all have a team, or you all have an idea. You just think about that idea that you have to find a solution for this problem. Then your teammates ask questions, give you opinions that this should be the answer, this should be the answer, this could be the solution, and how you manage the differences between each of them, how you manage to clear solve the problem of that differences among people, among your teammates.
Uh, Firstly, thank you for the lovely words and amazing question. Firstly, so when it comes to the team, how we go about is that initially, uh, when we come with a problem, so what happens is we sit together. Maybe it's in MACD or anywhere, and we start discussing. So what happens is we try to share the piece of our minds that this is my thinking, and how do we come to common grounds is that we try to analyze the data via Google, that what problem should we attend first. See, for every teammate, that problem for us, for other teammates, is important. Okay, because for everyone it is like for every teammate it's very important to respect someone else's point of view as well, right? So we kind of we try to rank them accordingly and think which one is better, like which should we cater first. We will cater all of them, actually, to be frank, in our product if it is possible, but whichever is like the most important, we go for that based on data. We don't see any emotions out there. Why? Because if you have emotions, you can get blinded, right? So we try to collect as much as data possible, and based on that we go ahead. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. I'm satisfied with your answer. Thank
Thank
you so much.
Anyone else?
May I one more question for you all?
Shalaka wants to ask something. Shalaka, can you unmute and ask?
Yes. Hello. Again, it was a really great session. My question is like, as I'm in the first year, like I don't know much about anything. So like, where do I start? Uh, yeah.
Okay, so that's a good question. And since you are in first year, you have a lot of time. First year we didn't know also what we were doing actually. So when it comes to you, you can look at what actually intrigues you. What are you interested in? Let's say for me it is IoT. Okay, from like in my team there's supposed to be diversity. So that doesn't mean that if you don't know a particular thing you cannot work on it. So if you want to start on something, let's say you're good in business, think about those aspects that you think that are a problem you might face, or maybe your parents or your friends, anybody. You can get a innovative idea anytime. I'm not joking. So like for example, your parents might be facing some issues with like income tax. Okay, like the process is delayed or something. You can get like an innovative idea based on that. Or maybe your friends are having some other issues. Try getting ideas on it. Now your ideas should not be restricted to the current technologies. There's always space for building up stuff, right? So that's how you can just start. Like to start, you should have a problem. Think on every terms and every aspect you have to, what problems you are facing right now. You can start with them actually. Like I started with that. So you can actually go for that. Like for example, when like the Hyderabad rape case happened, even before that the rape cases in Delhi, that really disturbed me. So my goal was to go like to get the solution for that. And then we collectively, collected data that 65% of Indian population carry bags. So that's why we went for a smart bag for security. So you should
Yeah.
go ahead in that flow.
Yes. Thank you.
Mayank, can I just say a few words?
Sure, ma'am. Why not?
Yeah, Shalaka, see, you have to look at the real world problems which are there right now and try to address problems which will be taking up which will be helping the society, just like what Mayank has done. Now his product is going to be very helpful to the society.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Shalaka. So you
Yes.
try to see in that way. Like we are having so many problems which are there. In our Mumbai itself, you can see around. Like there are so many problems which you can address. So try to take some real world problems, which will try to help the society.
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks, Mayank.
Always, ma'am.
Man, just have a look at the comment section also.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
They've asked some good questions.
Okay, where is that? Okay. How can we access the recording? Done. Okay. How to understand the cost of the product we should keep. Okay. So to Upmanyu, so his question is how to understand the cost of the product we make for the competition. Okay. Now for this particular question, firstly, this is a very good question. All of them are actually so good, man. Okay, so Upmanyu, when it comes to cost, you should research on your own. Like for us, Nidhi and Nimisha, they actually went to Crawford Market before obviously the COVID phase. They went to Crawford Market and me and Rohin went to Lamington Road to know what are the pricing of each and every component. And after that we also did some market analysis where we saw what is like what domain we are looking at, like let's say like smart bag. So there are like smart bags that are for 10,000 rupees that has no features. Absolutely, I'm not. So what we try to do is, if someone is willing to pay 10,000 rupees for a smart bag with just a power bank in it, okay, now get this straight. So so-called smart bags out there in the market right now, they have power banks, your phone jacks, that's all. So what we try to do is we're trying to get a smart bag that has GPS, all those security features in just 8,000 rupees. So that will directly break the market. You don't need to, like, once you know that your product in that particular domain is lowest in cost and best in usage and capabilities, that's what will attract the competition or the competitors. You should know who your competitors are at this point of time, in case if you're in the competition, like NIC also if you're getting selected. Before you get selected, make sure you should know who your competitors are, whichever your product is or your service is. Make sure you know who your competitors are, because this is like one of the one question that will always be there in any competition. Like, what is so different in your product that is not there in the market yet? So I hope that answers your question. Okay. What's the next? Some. When one has the idea. Okay, so when I had the idea, the first thing is that before the idea, I got to know the problem. Okay, so once I got the problem, I went for the idea. Based on that, I, I went to Rohin because he's damn good in coding and all. So after that, this is to Grace actually. So after that, I went for the code, and like so, the team formation was the first step, and then we worked on it together. Grace, we have actually answered how to start. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Please go ahead. Okay. See, in India right now, I'm not sure about you can patent an idea or not, because even I wanted to do that, but my lawyer said it is not possible right now. So we went for the product only. This is for Meet, who asked the question: is it okay to patent ideas? It is possible, but I'm not sure about it. But we went for direct the product itself. What if someone wants to make the same related to this case? See, obviously there is scope to Mrs. Tank, I guess. So what the question is, I have only one question. What if someone wants to make same what some related to space and technology? Absolutely, you can make. There are scopes for it. ISRO is one of the things you can look at to go and this thing. So by the way, the first thing you can do is you can contact someone from ISRO. They will always help you out if it is space and technology. And yeah, I mean, like if your idea is good, they can obviously try to help you out. Because I know a few people who have done this, and now they are currently working in ISRO. Or any other question?
To Charmi, there are some ISRO competitions which are held.
Yeah, actually, even I did one course from ISRO. So, I mean, you should check their website. They are
Yeah.
always open for, suggestion.
And they ask for your ideas also.
Swati ma'am, we can't hear you.
Ma'am, type in the chat box otherwise. He's continuously trying to ask something, but I think it's not audible.
Yeah, it's not at all audible now. Yeah, ma'am is saying ISRO conduct competitions. Yes. Also like ideathon or hackathon. Yes, ma'am. Any other competition? Any other questions, guys?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one doubt which is not related to your PPT?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Can you give me a brief idea about how is this competition exactly going to proceed, in what stages, and how are what are the stages ahead now from now?
Okay, which competition you're in? ISC?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is like so once we were done with the college phase of ISC, we were assigned with a few mentors. Ours was Dr. Sampath. He's from south of India. Similarly, you will be having someone who will be mentoring you, and what they do is cybersecurity. Okay, I'll do that also. So what they do is they'll exactly scrutinize you in that sense that how to enhance your product. So that's like the next stage where you will have to actually explain your product in just 15 slides. Okay, that is one of the most difficult tasks we have had. 15 slides for our product is very less, even for you, because you think that 15 slides it will be done. It's not. Okay, because the 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 specific terms they want, it is very difficult for us to accommodate in 15 slides. So then next stage is like once you're done with that, you'll be assessed on what you've uploaded. Make sure, yeah, I forgot to mention one more thing. Whatever you do, whichever stage you are in, record every stage on camera. Please record every stage on camera, because you might have to upload it because of current COVID situation. Because even we have done that. Record everything. Uh, so then comes, they will actually assess you based on the technology you have used, how viable it is, how will it help the the country right now. Everything will be done, and then you'll get a result where 410 students, sorry, teams would be chosen. That is the semi-final or something like that. Now, after that comes the business plan phase, where you have to make a proper business plan. You have to explain everything in detail. What would you do from 4 years down the lane? What will you do of the money you're going to get? How will you run your startup? What people are you looking at? Everything they will need to know. You have to calculate it. You can't just you have to properly calculate it. After that comes the pitch round, and then the final. That's all.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Any suggestions for cybersecurity, like how to get an internship? And so, when you for cybersecurity, I'll help you out. You can contact me on my LinkedIn. I'll help you out there if you want. I've pasted my LinkedIn profile out here on chat. Okay. Any other questions? No problem. Yeah, yeah. They can actually contact us also. Any help you all need, please feel free to contact us on LinkedIn. We are always active actually. 'Cause- Any other question? Well, about our product, we can't mention as much right now because we are in that phase where we are getting our patent done. So in that filing phase, we cannot mention a lot about a product right now. Maybe someday we will, but once we get like the surety, then definitely we can. That was for Shalaka. Uh, any more questions?
I don't think there won't be.
Okay.
So, well, marking this as the end of the event, we thank you all for your patience and time. We apologize for all the technical difficulties faced. Thank you, Team Kavach. That was really an informative and enlightening session. We are sure that everyone had fun and interactive learning experience and that everyone has got a conventional insight. We really thank you for sharing your experience and time with us aspiring students. Looking forward to host many more such enlightening sessions with you all in your near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Kavach team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank you,
organizing
ma'am.
this.
Thank you, ma'am.
With this, we come to an end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, so I'll share the PDF, like the PPT link with Cyril, I guess. And-
Yeah. Serial you have to share.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.